Alone. Being alone can have a negative connotation, and many people in general fear being alone. As humans, we all are naturally social creatures. We're wired to connect and to form social relationships. But I think spending time alone can be a good thing, and something that we all should habitually practice in order to become happier with ourselves and our lives. Hey guys, I'm Chris, and in today's video, I want to discuss the art of being alone and isolating. Right now, we live in the age of technology, and communication is so advanced that it sometimes feels like we're never really alone. For most of us, we can send a text message to someone pretty much instantaneously. But I think this has kind of conditioned most people to have this mindset that if we don't have, these notifications or these external stimulations, then we feel alone. I want to talk about how to master being comfortable by yourself and why I think it's an important thing to have a balance of socialization and isolation. It doesn't really matter if you're an introvert or an extrovert. I think regardless, it's healthy to be comfortable being by yourself. Now, I'm not saying to avoid the world unless you want to, but I think you might be surprised how good it feels to isolate yourself every now and then, and potentially how healthy it could be as well. So real quick, if you're enjoying the video so far, feel free to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you can. It means a lot to me and it keeps me motivated to keep going. But anyways, let's continue. This past year, quarantine has pretty much forced people to isolate for the most part. There's articles and studies right now that have shown that the lockdown has unfortunately contributed to a mental health crisis, with an increase in rates of depression, anxiety, substance abuse, and suicide, unfortunately. And I think some of these issues are obviously quite complex, but I think a lot of them also stem from struggling with the feeling of loneliness. Now for me, I care a lot about mental health, so even though I want everyone watching this video to obviously get better with self-love and being alone, I do want you to understand that you never are truly alone. There are people that care about you, including me, so just please don't forget that. Now, a bit about me. I'm 24 years old, and growing up, I've never really been the most social butterfly. Throughout my life, I didn't consider, and I still don't consider myself to have a large group of friends. I was always that guy that kind of had a smaller group of friends. Now, I was lucky enough to have a really supportive and tight family growing up. I have 4 younger siblings, so in a sense, my siblings were kind of like my friends for most of my life. For me, I find time alone really important. I find that it's really helpful for me finding peace and for me to reflect and reminisce about my life. I use that time to think about where I am in my life, where I want to be in my life, and how I plan to get there. Life is really busy. Busy. Between social media, work, relationships, friends, it can be really overwhelming to yourself and your mental health if you don't spend time to process everything going on in your life. So that's why I think it's really helpful to spend some time to really be introspective and think about your life. Now, I want to share with you some of the ways that I've been practicing being by myself, being alone, and how I use, these methods to stay in tune with my feelings and my emotions and my state of mind. So first, let's discuss, how to actually be alone, because I know that's scary. As with anything, you need to practice. You don't need to do anything crazy like lock yourself in a room or go to, a random mountain and hike by yourself or anything like that, although you could if you wanted to. I think you should just start off by scheduling some time in your schedule to be alone. Turn off your phone, go outside and be by yourself and try to plan some type of activity. This can be, taking a walk, going to the park, going to the movies, going to eat at a restaurant, taking yourself out on a date. I've done all these things before, and I really encourage you to try these activities alone, because for the most part, I think introspection can be really good for your mental health. Okay, so you're alone. Now what's next? It's time to think. Think about your life, where you are, and what you want. Think about your goals, your job, your family, anything that you kind of want to process in your life. This is time for yourself to really just think. It doesn't have to be anything dramatic like you staring deeply into the sky or at a wall. If you don't really know what you want to think about, that's totally fine as well. You can spend some time doing some peaceful activities while you're alone, such as listening to music. For me, I like listening to 2 primary songs when I'm by myself. First, which is Joe Hisashi's One Summer's Day. It's a really nostalgic piano song from the legendary film Spirited Away. The other song is called Breathe by Lauv, and that one's a breakup song, but I found that both these songs for some reason really trigger some deep emotions inside of me, especially when I'm in a really emotional or pensive mood. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I've cried listening to these songs before. But anyways, like I said, I like these songs a lot. Everyone has different tastes in music. These are more like, your sad boy hours, but I found that these 2 songs can definitely unleash some deep emotions inside of you. So check them out. I'll link them in the description and let me know if you guys like them. Besides listening to music, maybe read a book. I'm reading a book right now called The Defining Decade by Meg Jay. One of my friends recommended it to me after watching my video about, your 20s right here. But you can do a lot of things. You can walk, you can exercise, go to the gym, meditate. It doesn't really matter what the activity is. I'm kind of running on a tangent right now, but the point is, there are a lot of benefits to setting aside some time to be alone by yourself. So let's talk about why you might want to isolate yourself every now and then, because there's research that suggests that that's a healthy thing to do. The first is being alone can actually improve your productivity. When you're by yourself, you can spend time focusing on, your personal goals. There's less distractions and there's no, external factors that can interfere with what you're thinking about. And research shows that you can actually be more productive when you isolate yourself. So when I'm by myself, I like to brainstorm, think of ideas like YouTube ideas, content ideas. I spend time, checking emails, doing work, doing any side projects I'm working on, things like that. So I find that when I'm by myself, I feel a lot more focused when it's just me. I have time to reflect on my life, reflect on my relationships, and realign my goals and just to think about where I am in my life. So that's a really positive thing. Another thing about being alone in isolation is that there's research that suggests that being alone can improve your relationships with other people and other people in your life. There's that famous saying that, absence makes the heart grow fonder, and I think it's true. When you spend time alone, you improve your own well-being, and in turn that can trickle down into your relationships with your other people in your life, your friends, your family, your partner. It can make these relationships much stronger, especially if you're in a healthier state of mind. So that's definitely another plus of isolation. And finally, there's research that suggests that being alone in general just makes you happier. Now, I'm not saying you have to be by yourself all the time. Don't lock yourself in a room. I don't think that's a healthy thing to do either. You can actually probably go crazy doing that. But maybe every week, once a month, spend some time, literally just go outside and go to a park and just spend a couple hours by yourself thinking, reading, listening to music, whatever. I think that's a really healthy thing to do, and it can make you a little bit happier in your life. If you have clarity about your own well-being, your own mental state, and you have time to process the chaos that is life, hopefully it can make you into a happier person. Alright guys, if you made it to the end, I really appreciate it. You guys are the truest homies, and I really appreciate you guys watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing and liking the video, and let me know what you guys think about, isolating yourself. Do you guys spend time isolating yourself and giving yourself some alone time? I usually spend a lot of time actually by myself, so I'm curious what other people think as well. So anyways, I'll see you guys next week. Thanks for watching. Peace.